Hello and welcome to this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Katie Aloy Knight. It's the first day of May, marking the start of Child Month. So parents, guardians and caregivers, now is the time to prioritize children's mental health because a strong mind can overcome even the toughest challenges. On that note, we have a great lineup in store for you today. So stay with us. We'll be right back after the news.
Jamaica Post is committed to being your preferred logistics partner. Enjoy the convenience of 3 to 5 days for international shipments at competitive rates and next business day delivery for local packages. Take advantage of our fast, reliable and ever-evolving services: zip mail, click and ship, fast track, EMS, parcel service, registered mail, corporate mail service and private letterbox. Access customer service support and track packages online. Visit our post offices island-wide and premium service centers at select locations. For more information, go to jamaicapost.gov.jm. Conditions apply.
Good day, I'm Jabertha Atkinson, and this is your JIS News for Friday, May 1, 2026. The government has agreed to resume annual performance-based salary increments for public sector workers effective in the 2026-2027 financial year, which began on April 1. The decision follows a meeting between the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service and the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU, on April 29. The ministry says a formal circular will be issued next Monday, May 4, outlining the details for implementation. The increments were previously suspended between April 2022 and March 2025 under Circular Number 20 during the rollout of the government's compensation restructuring program. With that reform now complete, the ministry says the conditions are in place for the reinstatement of performance increments and seniority allowances where applicable. Meanwhile, the ministry and the union remain actively engaged in wage negotiations for the contract period that covers April 1, 2025 to March 31, 2028. The government's national housing agenda is being expanded with the construction of 360 solutions across 72 acres of land near Galena in Port Maria and Rockabessa in St. Mary. Ground broke recently for the National Housing Trust NHT development, which is being done at a cost of approximately $2 billion. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says it is designed to bring formal housing within the reach of Jamaican families, address the country's housing deficit, and ensure that economic growth is inclusive.
The Galena housing development represents a deliberate and strategic investment in people. It reflects a clear understanding that housing is not just a social good, it is a central pillar of economic growth, community stability, and national resilience.
With 150,000 housing solutions targeted to meet the nation's demand, Prime Minister Holness underscored the need for an enterprise-level contracting cadre in Jamaica to take on large projects.
As we scale up what we're going to do, contractors must also scale up their capabilities, their competence, and their resources. Jamaica needs a contracting class that is thinking at enterprise scale, that will put the resources into their business to acquire the technical skills and competencies, to integrate the technology, and to develop the balance sheet to support the kinds of capital works that the government of Jamaica will be bringing to market.
The Nation family of Porus in Manchester are the recipients of a furnished 3-bedroom home delivered under another government housing program. The family was displaced after a fire destroyed their home in July of 2024. They were subsequently approved for a new dwelling under the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development's Indigent housing program. Ground was first broken in May of last year, and Minister Desmond McKenzie officially handed over the completed unit recently.
The construction some $11 million was provided for this project. It was done within the budget. We provided additional funds to furnish the house. So they're not just getting a 3-bedroom, but it is fully furnished.
Additionally, ground was broken for the construction of a 2-bedroom unit for Robert Nation, brother of the recipient.
We respect the people that we are providing the houses for. And we will continue to do that because in this year's approved budget, we have received more funding from the Ministry of Finance. And when I speak in the sectoral debate, I will be outlining how much more indigent houses we'll be providing right across the country for persons who are in need of indigent housing support.
This project highlights the government's commitment to supporting vulnerable citizens through the Indigent Housing Program. Jamaica will complete preparations this year for the launch of its own Blue-Green Fund to be housed at the Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ. Blue-Green funds typically refer to financing mechanisms designed to combine investments for the sustainable use of ocean resources and land-based environmental initiatives. Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change, Matthew Samuda, says this is part of government's ongoing efforts to better position Jamaica to access global finance opportunities.
By aligning with international financing goals, Jamaica will be better equipped to secure the resources needed for national development. We expect this to be primarily financed by the GCF, and Jamaica targets over $150 million investment in this fund that will finance blue and green projects across varying sectors.
The minister was making his contribution to the sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Also coming out of his presentation, Minister Samuda is reasserting that the Jamaica National Adaptation Plan, JANAP, is a priority for completion this financial year. JANAP is to be a comprehensive framework that embeds climate resilience into the core of national development.
The JANAP is not simply another policy document. It is an implementation framework. It is designed to move us from fragmented, project-based interventions to a coordinated whole-of-government approach to resilience building.
The plan focuses on sectors such as water, agriculture, health, tourism, and coastal resources. Minister Samuda says it will be grounded in data, risk assessment, coordinated vulnerability mapping, economic analysis, and climate projections.
To ensure that investments are targeted where they are most needed. Importantly, Madam Speaker, it integrates gender considerations, stakeholder engagement, and investment planning.
JANAP is financed by a $1.435 million grant from the Green Climate Fund and managed by the United Nations Office for Project Services. On February 4, the Planning Institute of Jamaica hosted a launch workshop for the National Adaptation Plan to resensitize stakeholders to the process for the plan and how it will guide Jamaica to systemically prepare and respond to escalating climate threats. And finally, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, is conducting an internal audit to investigate concerns raised in recent media reports regarding the hiring, dismissal, and salary practices at the authority. In addressing the matter, Executive Director of the NSWMA, Audley Gordon, says he remains fully committed to accountability, transparency, and public interest. But he says the authority also has a duty to protect the privacy, employment records, and personal data of its staff. The head of the Waste Management Agency says management is at the stage of formally responding to the matters raised, and the responses will be assessed by the auditors and incorporated into a final report for submission to the authority's Board of Directors. Mr. Gordon says once the audit process is complete and the Board of Directors have considered the final report, the NSWMA will share the findings and any actions to be taken with the public. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Jabertha Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency, NLA, can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Thank you for staying with us. Shipping goods overseas is more technical than we think. Next, we take a closer look at how the Ministry of Agriculture's Plant Quarantine Division ensures export standards are being met.
From the outside, exporting our produce may seem straightforward. Harvest, pack, and ship. But for those in the business, the reality is far more complex. Behind every successful shipment is a tightly controlled system where a single misstep can lead to rejection, losses, or strained market relationships. At its core is the Plant Quarantine Division, ensuring all exports meet international standards.
Become an exporter, you have to get a packing facility. And that is where the biggest money comes in sometimes. People have to buy land, build buildings or rent buildings. But you need that because we need to ensure that the goods you are prepared in a certified sanitary condition. So we have basic requirements for that. Good running water, concrete flooring, proper roofing, and also your tenure. How did you get this property? Did you lease it? Did you buy it? Do you rent it? So those are some basics for exporting on our side. And then there's basic training that we give to each exporter as they begin the process. And we run training, and we also give very close monitoring along the way. We also have a spot check system where we go and see that the facility is still up to standard and they are still there operating. And also there's a recertification each year to ensure that you are doing what you are supposed to be doing.
At the export complexes, we operate a one-stop shop facility. This means that we have customs present and the airlines are present. So once you take the things to us for inspection, they do not leave the compound. They go to the relevant shipping line that they will be shipped through. We have a very good relationship with our trading partners. All new requirements are communicated to Jamaica through the NPPO, who imparts the information to the inspectorate.
Timing and preparation are everything. Exporters must book inspections at least 24 hours in advance. By this stage, produce must already be sorted, graded, and packed.
For plants to be exported, an import permit is required depending on the country that you're exporting to. Also, a letter from the commodity board is required based on the commodity that you're exporting, and a valid invoice is required. And when I say valid, it means that this invoice has to be signed and detailed.
Missing or incomplete documents can delay or derail shipments entirely. However, even with preparation, shipments can still be rejected overseas. There's one document that can determine whether your shipment is accepted or rejected: the phytosanitary certificate.
It attests that the plants or plant parts, they have been inspected by a plant quarantine produce inspector, and they are found to be pest-free, and they meet the importing requirements of the country to which they will be exported.
Exports can also get rejected if they are of poor quality, if actionable pests are found, and if soil is present.
When it is rejected, the exporter has the option of reconditioning if it is something that can be reconditioned. Example, if it is where pest was found, it can be reconditioned. But if it is a case where spoilage or excess chemical residue is found, then that cannot be reconditioned. That would have to be rejected.
The bottom line, exporting our produce is not just about supply. It's about systems, standards, and consistency. Because in global markets, it's not just what you grow, it's how well you prepare it for the world. For more information on obtaining your export permit, visit the Ministry of Agriculture website at moa.gov.jm.
We are now in a season when plants, flowers, just about everything is in full bloom. Up next, we'll show you how to grow your own fruit tree, not just for your household, but as a simple way to contribute to the island's food security. Who knew that backyard gardening could include growing fruit trees? Well, today we're exploring how growing trees at home can turn your yard into a lasting source of fresh fruits and food security. Let's go. Imagine stepping outside and picking your own oranges, guineps, or cherries. No market trip, no rise in prices, just fresh, nutritious fruits. For business owner and a farmer Julie Chin, that journey began long before she ever planted her first tree.
My dad was a farmer, so I grew up on a farm. So I could say I've been a farmer the whole of my life. My dad had planted a lot of fruit trees before, and they were actually destroyed by people's animals and maybe a lack of care. So it's just something I wanted to continue on. It provides food for us, also for wild animals and birds, and I just love the idea of planting fruit trees, like leaving a legacy.
And that she is. Today, on 370 acres, partly dedicated to farming, her operation is a thriving mix of citrus and exotic fruit trees, designed for both harvest and sustainability. Rows of Artinique trees are intercropped with lemons, limes, and grapefruit alongside black sapote.
Pretty much any different kind of fruit trees I could get my hand on, I try to intercrop to have a variety of trees on my farm.
Like many farmers across the island, her journey has faced challenges, but she continues to replant, rebuild, and stay rooted in purpose.
Even if we don't reap the fruits, just to know it provides something. It's not just a tree that provides oxygen and pollen and nectar for birds and bees and butterflies and stuff. But just for us as humans to be able to have something from that fruit to eat.
Now Julie's operation is beyond backyard farming. But even in her story, you can find inspiration, and you don't need acres of land to start. Even in urban communities, fruit trees can thrive in containers. With a large pot, proper soil, and regular pruning, trees can be kept small and productive.
If the trees are engrafted, like circumposed from a bearing tree, probably within a year or 2 years. And those would be the ones that's best suited for container gardening, not from seeds, but from circumposed plants.
Julie sells her produce at local farmers markets, where fresh, organic fruits are always in demand.
The Ortiniques were like $400 per pound. And if you bought 10 pounds of Ortinique for your family, that's a good savings. Relatively, I should think.
You too could sell your surplus crops. But even if your family is able to consume it all, think of the savings you just made by not having to buy those fruits. As Jamaica continues to strengthen its food security, backyard gardening is emerging as a quiet but powerful solution. Every tree planted reduces dependence on imported food, strengthens local resilience, and promotes healthier living. So whether you have a large yard or just a small space for a container, start with one tree. And in time, it won't just feed you, it will feed a nation. As we mark Child Month 2026, one truth stands out. Children are not just the future, they are the now. What they experience today is often what they carry into adulthood. In our upcoming feature, we will see a child tackling this reality head on, using a powerful dramatic piece to raise awareness about domestic violence, because the cycle must stop now.
My name is Abigail Carter and my piece is Woman Abused.
Him love me, him love me not. Him love me, him love me not. Him love me, him love me, him love me. But if him love me, why you might hurt me?
I am trying to tell women that it's not every man that you can go with that would be peaceful, great, and like passionate to you and will take care of you. It's not every man is like that. And I want to spread awareness of domestic violence against women.
Woman looking at the mirror by yourself, no say your eye them black and now them blue. Woman looking at the mirror by yourself, the mama up your lip them in a two.
When children see these things, they're very traumatized by it.
Him choke all ya, him box ya down, him kick ya, tell ya bad word. Woman you been battered, woman you been abused. You can't stay at the boat, you're confused. Inna yourself, you make another excuse.
The message is that just love yourself, be confident, don't shy down to the things that you really want to do, because if you do, everyone would think that you're not good enough. You know that you are good enough, but people would think that you're not. But in yourself, you know that you can do it and you can achieve.
Woman looking at the mirror by yourself, the mama shop your mental health. Woman you depressed, so much sadness. Woman you need love, woman you need shelter. You need to rise up your life can be better. You need to rise up your life can be better.
Performing makes me open up. I used to be a closed book, but now from I performed, I'm a more open book and everybody knows everything about me. I like to dance and I like to read and I like to write as well. In Child Month, I want people to let the children feel more embraced and more confident about their self and how they look and how they may express.
The Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, says Jamaica's cocoa industry is bouncing back after the impact of Hurricane Melissa. The agency has invested about $34 million to help farmers recover, supplying seedlings, fertilizer, and practical support to get cocoa production up and running again.
What I can stand here and say today is that based on the efforts that we have put in, and also the fact that the damage was not the same throughout the entire island, we believe that our cocoa will bounce back for the next crop year.
And I was raised in sunshine, Jamaica, my blessed Jamaica, mighty one, oh, I bless our land always, for strength and our vigor. So let's remind ourselves and tell the world hello, hello, I'm a Jamaican, we are Jamaicans, hello, hello, I'm a Jamaican.
This is where we wrap up today's program. I hope you've been informed, inspired, and uplifted. Join us again tomorrow for another engaging edition of Jamaica Magazine right here on this station. If you've missed any part of today's show, you can catch the repeat and more stories at jis.gov.jm. I'm Katie Aloy Knight. Thanks for watching, and as always, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.